There is this trend where people share things they consider worth the money. Very often those are some products that are a little bit more on the more expensive side that people would just personally recommend. It's supposed to be a trend where influencers share their genuine recommendations without being paid or told what to say by brands, but somehow it doesn't feel genuine or worth the money at all.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys 7 things that are worth your money. As someone with a pretty big shopping addiction, I feel like I'm qualified to tell you guys things that I've spent my money on that I feel like are worth every single penny.
It's so weird to me that someone could just so casually drop the fact that they are a shopping addict and in the same video recommend things to buy. Because a shopping addiction is so detrimental to your life because you are spending way above your means, and I don't think it qualifies anybody to be an expert on what to buy. Shopping addicts, from my experience, will buy right about anything just to satisfy that shopping need, and they don't really have the most critical approach to the products they buy. I think it's more likely that she's not an actual addict and she just buys a lot because she is an influencer and a big part of her content is talking about products and recommending stuff to people. I just think it's a weird way to start a video like this, but then again, you'll hear a lot of influencers say that.
Okay, first thing for me is the Dyson Airstray. I used to go to sleep with my hair wet all the time, but ever since I dyed my hair blonde, I cannot sleep with it wet, otherwise it'll wake up actually stringy and disgusting. It literally works like magic. It straightens and dries your hair at the same time, and this is also really good for people that have naturally maybe wavy or curly hair and they just want to have it straight after they wash it. It's life-changing.
It immediately sounds like an ad, right? That's why I don't really trust influencers and the recommendations, because even when it's a seemingly genuine video, the way they describe products always gives me pre-written ad vibes. And I went to her profile just to see if she doesn't have it linked anywhere in her recommendations or her Amazon storefront, and she honestly has so many products in there. I was a little bit shocked, and it's another reason why I don't really trust influencer recommendations, because how can you genuinely recommend this many products and say that this many products are your favorites?
Next would be any kind of digital camera. I have the G7X, but a lot of my friends have really old vintagey digital cameras, and personally I feel like those work so good, especially if you want your photos to have that vintagey feel. I have the G7X, and don't get me wrong, it works so good, but it is really pricey. So if you guys are able to find an actual vintage one, I'm pretty sure you can find them on Facebook Market for a really good price, but it just has that grainy look with the flash on. It's so pretty, and the quality is actually not too bad when the photos come out.
I think if you aren't genuinely interested in photography, if it isn't your hobby, buying a camera that costs over $1,000 isn't worth it just for some cute Insta pics. Most of us have phones with good enough cameras to take really, really good quality pictures, and there are so many filters and editing apps that you can make your pictures look however you want to. So I think for most people it's actually not worth it to spend $1,000 on a digital camera just so your Instagram looks cuter.
Next is Brandy Melville. This one's pretty self-explanatory. I'd say almost 90% of my closet is from Brandy because everything is 100% cotton. The quality is just so good. Such cute trending clothes for, I would say, a decent price, at least a lot cheaper than a lot of these other big retailers like Aritzia and stuff. So
okay, to be fair, I don't have anything from Brandy because I'm pretty sure they don't even have a store in my country. But I was always under the impression that Brandy Melville is just a fast fashion brand. So I'm kind of surprised that she says it's very good quality. But if you guys have it and buy clothes from there, you can let me know in the comments what you think about it and if it's actually worth your money.
Number 4 on the list is a good claw clip. I personally love the MEJ ones. These little ones right here specifically are my favorite. I am a huge claw clip girl. I love just pinning my hair back, and I love doing a half up, half down, and look at how easy that just clawed. I like this one specifically because for the size of it, it has such a strong grip. This will last me all day without me needing to fix it. And also it comes in so many cute designs and patterns, and they're just so cute and girly.
To be honest with you, what I expected from videos like this is to hear that, I don't know, 5-star hotels or an iPhone Pro or designer bags, that those are the things worth the money. Now, I'm not saying that designer bags, for example, are worth the money in my opinion, but this is what I kind of expected to hear from influencers like Katie. And then I see her recommending a plastic claw clip. And like, don't get me wrong, a cute claw clip is like amazing, but it's just surprising to me that this is what she includes in her video.
Number 5 on the list would be Amazon Prime. There's so many times when I just need something the next day, or like I need it overnight, and Amazon Prime literally so clutch. And you can literally find anything and everything on Amazon, and it'll come the next day, and sometimes it'll literally show up on my doorstep the day of.
And again, this sounds like she's reading an ad. Now, I'm not actually like accusing her of doing an undisclosed ad. I don't think Amazon like specifically paid her to say this in this specific video, but we know she has an Amazon storefront in her bio, so obviously she would like people to buy things from Amazon.
Number 6 would be a Stanley Cup. I used to never drink enough water because I would just forget or just be too lazy, but having a Stanley Cup in my house, I just fill it up every day and I drink at least 2 of them, and it's helped me like drink the right amount of water every single day. And like when I have a cute cup to drink out of, I'm sipping on that water every single second.
It's so funny because I think that Stanley Cups are actually very overpriced for what they actually are, which is just a water cup. And I say this as somebody who uses cups like this every single day. Like, I have a bunch of like those which are really cute, but they aren't like Stanley Cups. They cost, I don't know, I don't really remember, maybe like $5 or something. I also have some that look more like typical Stanley Cups. They just don't have the Stanley name, and they like get the job done. They look very cute, and I paid like a fraction of the price for them. But Stanley is like so great with marketing. I don't know how they managed to create this obsession with their products when it's just a water cup. Like, it like blows my mind, but they are great with it, and there are people that have like huge collections when I think 1 or 2 products would be enough. And I even almost fell for this like marketing scheme. I almost bought a Stanley Cup. I was looking at them online and I thought, you know what, it's a water cup. Like, it's not worth that price, and I just bought something cheaper. And honestly, like right now, I'm so happy I did, because I think I had that little obsession with Stanley Cups and I was this close to buying this. And I think right now I would regret buying that, because just a plastic cup from like Primark or whatever is doing a good enough job. And no hate to anyone who owns and uses a Stanley Cup. I just think that the obsession with them is a little bit over the top, especially when I see those like huge collections. And then I think to myself, but you're only going to use like 1 or 2 at a time. Why do you need 50 of them?
Starting strong with a boob job, hands down the best thing that I ever did. Number 2, an Aura ring, literally obsessed with it. 3, Amazon Prime. 4, Archie's flip-flops. And 5, a Canon G7X or a Canon SX740.
I have very mixed feelings on whether or not getting some like plastic procedure done is worth the money, because I think there are 2 sides of the coin. Because on one hand, if you have like some big insecurity, something that you genuinely struggle with, and you can change it or fix it with plastic surgery, then that probably is worth the money. I mean, you can work on your mentality and kind of like accept your flaws, but some people just prefer to fix it by getting work done, and I think that's pretty valid. I mean, I personally never got any work done, even though I have thought about it on multiple occasions, but I always kind of ended up accepting that I'm just not perfect and there are things about me that aren't perfect. But I can understand that someone, especially when they have the money, would rather fix it when it's fixable. And I just sometimes think to myself that maybe I never had something that I was like that insecure about to get it fixed with work done. Because, for example, there was a time where I really wanted to get a nose job. and then I started watching videos of how they actually do it, like what the procedure is. And then I decided, you know what, I'm not actually that insecure about my nose. I'm just going to leave it as it is because I just don't want to go through all that. But maybe if it was like a bigger insecurity of mine, I would have decided to get it done. But on the other hand, things like boob jobs or Botox or filler are advertised as procedures that will absolutely change your mind. And I think in most situations, it's not actually the case. Filler is probably not going to be as revolutionary as it's advertised because like no matter how much stuff you put into yourself or into your skin, you're still going to show signs of aging. So I think it's just important to keep that in mind when you are deciding whether it's worth your money or not.
Okay, I wrote a list of all the expensive things I think are worth your money. Japanese manicure, laser hair removal, Chanel sunnies. Let me show you which ones. Look how cute they are. I think Alexa Demi also have very similar ones. Chanel lip and cheek in any shade. Westman Tillet blending brush, specifically the baby blue one. Mason Margiela tabbies. If I could, I would wear them every single day. Hourglass brushes. A 2-week trip to Japan. Tatcha Silk sunscreen. Air purifier. And 2 cats.
A lot of people in her comments were saying things like, why would €600 sunglasses be worth it? Or I kind of regret purchasing those Chanel sunnies. The glasses are cute. I'm not going to lie, they look pretty cool. I kind of like them. I like the vibe. However, I don't think they are like this innovative or anything to be worth like €600 or like however much they cost. I mean, you can find the exact same glasses that just aren't from Chanel and they are going to be just as cute and functional. Obviously, here you are paying for the brand and Chanel logo, which I just personally don't think is worth overpaying. I know for a lot of people, just owning something designer and just having something that is expensive is like a whole experience that for them is worth it, but for me it just isn't. I think expensive brands and like designer things in general are mostly worth it when you can feel the difference in the quality of the product. For example, I think Chanel perfumes are definitely worth their price because I can actually feel the difference between them and the dupes. At least from my experience, I didn't find any Chanel dupes that were like as good as the original. But I wouldn't pay for Chanel glasses just to wear their logo on my face, and I think that's the only benefit you get from actually paying extra for that specific brand. The thing I truly agree here with is the Japan trip, because I generally think that traveling is worth it when you can afford it, but I'm just kind of surprised it's like right at the bottom of her list, below the Chanel sunglasses and everything. I know the list is probably in random order, but I would definitely, like, it would be one of the first things I would think of. Also, the cats are at the end, which is a little bit sad. While making this video, I started thinking about what I would put on a list of things that are worth the money, and I realized that my list is much different from what those influencers are talking about. I would say it's like traveling, going on vacations, or any type of experience that's going to stay with you for a long time. For example, a concert, an art exhibition, depends on what you're interested in. But generally speaking, I think experiences are worth the money way more than any type of product. The same goes for going out with your friends, whether it's like a night out or just eating out, like lunch, dinner, whatever. I would rather save my money on like makeup and clothes and skincare and instead spend it on having fun with my friends, trying new food, and generally like living life instead of filling it with products. But if I had to choose things, like physical things that are worth the money, I really struggle coming up with a list. I, generally speaking, have this problem that I think that nowadays nothing is actually worth the money. Like, everything is just overpriced. And sometimes when I have to buy something for some reason and I look at the price of it and I'm like, why would I pay so much for it? Like, it's just not worth the money. Everything is like plastic and bad quality and it's so overpriced. And then you see influencers who are recommending some like stupid plastic shit, and that's literally all it is, some stupid overpriced plastic shit. The same with like makeup or any sort of skincare. Anytime I buy a product that's like so hyped up on social media, I'm always disappointed by it because it's usually not much better than its cheaper versions, or sometimes it's even worse. So when it comes to products, I think the only things that are really worth the money are things that have been selling for a really long time, because it means that people are using it and rebuying it, and I think that is a sign of quality. Most new items that you see advertised by influencers are probably not as good as something that's been on the shelves for years. There are obviously exceptions to that, but I think it's a good rule of thumb. And the best recommendations are going to come from your mom or your aunt or your grandma. If they tell you that they've been using something for years, that is probably worth the money. And you know what else I just thought about that I think is actually worth the money? Physical books. I know that like an e-reader with some type of subscription is probably cheaper in the long run, and at the end of the day the text you're reading is just the same, but nothing beats the experience of like reading an actual physical book for me. I do read on my iPad occasionally, but I prefer buying books whenever I can, because then no one can like take it away from me, no one can change anything in it, and I think that's pretty important nowadays, especially given the fact what AI companies are doing with books. Now I'm waiting to hear what you guys consider worth the money, so let me know in the comments. If you don't know what to watch next, check out those videos of mine. Obviously, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!